Shredder came out the gate with the crazy. He was like, we gotta hunt down these monster turtles. I'm like, did this motherfucker just say turtles? My name is Danny Pennington. I am 48 years old. And between 1988 and 1995, I was a ninja in the Foot Clan. Yeah, see, that's me. It's Christopher. It's my best friend since Little League. It's Mikey and Brian, twins from the Bronx. Eddie, bridge and tunnel kid from Bayonne, New Jersey. We used to bust his chops about that. And Tatsu, biggest party animal you'll ever meet. Well, like every great story, this one starts in New York City. I was just a young pickpocket on the streets, snatching wallets from guys, swapping them with other pickpockets. Hey, you snatch this guy's wallet, I'll swap you with that guy's wallet. It sounds terrible, but you gotta remember, this was New York in the 80s. Greed was good. I mean, if you weren't actively robbing someone, that's how they knew you were a tourist. So anyways, one day my boy Christopher comes up to me and he says, hey, I heard about this warehouse party out on Liberty Island, kind of a guy's thing, you wanna go check it out? And I'm thinking, my friend Christopher's trying to tell me something. Not really my scene, but I figure they're probably gonna have good music, so I'll go and I'll support my friend. So we go, and it turns out it's not a gay rave. It was even better. I'm talking indoor skate park, every arcade game you could think of. No quarters. You want to break dance? Sure. You want to do graffiti? Great. You want to play roulette at a table where the croupier is a 10-year-old smoking a cigar? You could do that there. So then at some point, one of the guys comes up to me and he says, hey, just so you know, we're this thing called the Foot Clan. We're like an ancient order of Japanese ninjas. I'm not sure if you'd, be interested in joining up with us. And I said, it is 1988 and you just asked me if I want to be a ninja? My only two questions are, when do I get my nunchucks and when do I meet Michael Dudikoff?
Michael Dudikoff in American Ninja 2, The Confrontation.
Spoiler alert, I never met Michael Dudikoff, and they never gave me nunchucks, they gave me a halberd. Because nothing says I'm really into the ancient history and tradition of Japanese ninjutsu better than a medieval European battle axe. Yeah, so we're having a great time and we're learning to be ninjas, and all of a sudden there's a gong, like a literal gong. And they're like, oh, we gotta go see the leader now. And I'm like, oh, okay. You see, my parents were Scientologists, so I had a pretty good idea what was happening next. And sure enough, Shredder comes out, big flowing robe, lots of downlighting, very theatrical, saying things like, this is your family, I am your father. I'm like, okay, buddy, get to the part when you start asking me for money. But the difference is, in Scientology, you gotta wait a few years before they get to the whole, alien volcano thing. Shredder came out the gate with the crazy. He was like, we gotta hunt down these monster turtles. I'm like, did this motherfucker just say turtles? Like turtles. Like leaf-eating, slow-moving, turtles. My first thought was maybe Shredder's like one of those Roman soldiers who's never seen an elephant before. Like he's never been to the zoo and somebody showed him a picture of a giant tortoise and he's like, oh my God, kill it with fire. So when somebody tells you to go fight a turtle, I'm like, you gonna give me all the free arcade games I want, all the free ninja weapons I want? Yeah, I'll fight a turtle for you. Okay. Biggest mistake of my life. Those turtles were real. They were, 5'9", 5'10", upright, opposable thumbs, vocal cords. You close your eyes, one of them, I swear to God, sounds exactly like Corey Feldman. And the worst part about it is they were better at ninjutsu than we were. For 5 years, I got my ass handed to me. I'm talking lacerations, stabbings, contusions, concussions, broken ribs. Eddie from New Jersey went deaf in his left ear when he got his head crushed in by 2 turtle shells. Mikey and Brian, the twins from the Bronx, Brian took a bow staff to the face. They ain't twins no more. You know how many times I had to hear the same joke from the ER doctor at Columbia Presbyterian? Hey buddy, did you get stabbed by Poseidon's trident? No buddy, it was a 3-pronged Japanese dagger called a sai, just like last week. So then one day I come in for my shift and they're like, hey, guess what? We got the turtles dead. And I'm thinking, what is he, like an even bigger turtle? And they're like, no, it's a 4-foot tall rat and we got him handcuffed to a fence in the back. And I'm like, oh my God, what has my life become? And I felt really bad about the whole Splinter thing because he was elderly, he had mobility issues. I'm like, we should be giving him a couch and some soup and let him watch Matlock. This is awful. I didn't want to be a part of that. So we get into this big final battle where the Turtles went to our lair to rescue Splinter, and we went to the Turtles' lair to like mess up their stuff. And it turns out we've been on the same block this entire time. Like literally, we were 100 feet from each other. They were just in the sewers below us, like the whole time. So I come out of the sewer and there's a big fight happening on the roof between the Turtles and Shredder and Splinter, and Shredder falls off the roof into the trash compactor that Casey Jones had parked there. By the way, Casey Jones belongs in prison. You do not flip a switch on a garbage compactor knowing there's a human being inside. And no, you don't get to say, oops, oops, oops. Yeah, like that's gonna get you out of a murder charge, Casey.
What about the arson?
What arson? Okay, I was cleared in that investigation because April O'Neil knew the wiring was faulty in that building. So anyways, the fight's over. I'm told Splinter told a hilarious joke. He was up on the roof. I was on the ground. I didn't hear it. And then we learned the horrible truth. Everything. The warehouse, the ninja weapons, the arcade games, the Turtles, the whole Foot Clan, all of it was so that Shredder could get revenge on the rat that scratched his face 20 years ago in Japan. Like, think about how insane that is. Like, first of all, I'm not even talking about Splinter emigrating to America. Like, forget about that part. Just think about the logistics of Shredder tracking a rat from Japan to America and then finding like one specific rat in New York City. Like, think about that for a second. And then the rat turns out to be mutated to a point where it's practically Danny DeVito sized. And oh my God, he's got an army of turtles fighting for him too. And that's when I learned that Donatello was 16. All the turtles were 16. Like, we were kids, they were kids too. And realizing that we were all just child soldiers in this horrible blood feud between an insane Japanese man and the rat that scratched his face 20 years ago. Took me a while to come to grips with that.
So what's the secret of the ooze?
Oh God, you want to know about the ooze?